Hello my friends, my name is Ryan Freeman. Welcome to my channel. Today's video is about Readers Theater. Readers Theater is an event that takes place across Taiwan with public school, elementary, middle school students, as well as private schools as well. I just finished our citywide competition here in Jiayi City. I'm going to tell you the results. I'm going to tell you how I got prepared for that event. Okay, so but first, what is Readers Theater? Theater, theatrical performance, usually involves dialogue as well as a lot of movement and props and costumes. Readers Theater is somewhat of a toned-down version of that. There is a script, there is emotion, there is there's acting, there's movement, but very limited movement. Basically, you have a cast of characters, including narrators, that may generally be about 8 performers, can be more, can be less, that will stand just in front of a music stand where they'll have their script, and they can refer to their script, although most schools that actually want to do a great job will generally have been practicing their script for quite a long time and have their script memorized. So it is a toned-down version of a play, generally about 5 minutes long. Now, schools will do school-wide competitions where each class will send a group to perform against the other classmates or their other schoolmates. And then there will be a citywide competition. And the citywide competition, each school will send their best group to compete against the other schools for the glory, basically. Here's the thing, okay? And I don't know if you know this. Now, all schools across the world want to have a good reputation with their community for having a great education, having a great English program, having a great math program, science program. But here in Taiwan, the schools have, Asia is very competitive when it comes to school, right? Parents are always pushing their students to study extra hard, paying lots of money to get them private tutoring and sending them to private schools after their regular school to increase their grades. They're very competitive when it comes to academics. Schools are competitive in terms of ranking because parents can often choose which schools to send their kids to. But because of the declining birth rate over the past so many years here in Taiwan, the competition is fierce for schools to improve their reputation because a lot of schools do shut down, and even the schools that are hanging in there shutter a lot of their classrooms because they just don't have enough students. So schools fight tooth and nail to increase their reputation. And I'm just walking through the park, don't know where I'm going, but we're going to go up this way. So, okay, I'm trying to build up the drama. Readers Theater, whoever wins Readers Theater isn't necessarily going to make or break a school, but it is an important component, okay? And the teachers and the students that get involved often do take it pretty seriously. All right, now, I had never heard of Readers Theater until I came to Taiwan, and at my first school, I was brought in as an advisor to proofread the script, to help students with pronunciation, and give them some tips. Very limited role, but it was a lot of fun. And I have a background in theater, in acting. I've been in not many plays. I've been in several plays, a few as the main actor. And I have taken acting classes, and I've been in commercials and done some TV work. So it's something that's in my wheelhouse. It's something that I'm interested in. And so I always jump at the opportunity to get involved. I'm tired. At my second school, in Kaohsiung, I helped several classes for just the school-wide competition, proofread the script, all of that, yada, yada, yada. But no, there was no citywide competition that I got involved with. And that is the heart of Readers Theater. Oh, well, I shouldn't say that. Okay, so overall, Readers Theater is not just about improving a school's reputation. Reader's Theater is about giving the students a way to get excited about English, giving them an activity, an outlet to improve their English. And that's really the spirit of Reader's Theater. That's really what it's about. But I have always been involved or been interested in the competition aspect of taking a team and training them. And so at this school that I'm working at here in Chiayi City, I was given that opportunity. Me, as well as a local teacher, a young lady who's very professional. The two of us worked as a team to cast, to write the script, and to prepare the students and take them to the performance. So I'm going to go through that process. So I was told, Ryan, we would like you to head this project, and we think you have what it takes to get our school to the top of the Reader's Theater competition. Because last year our school sort of got in the middle. They didn't. Basically, there's 3 tiers of prizes. There's like premier prize, there's excellent, and then there's good, right? So there's like tier 1, tier 2, tier 3, and there's like 5 schools that get tier 1, 5 schools that get tier 2, and 5 schools that get tier 3. And our school had placed tier 2 last year, and they really wanted to get to tier 1, and they sort of gave me a compliment but put pressure on me by saying, Ryan, we know you can get us to tier 1. So Ryan, you write the script and you train the students, and Iris is gonna help you. So I was like, okay, game on. All right. But like everything, I procrastinated. I waited until the day before the script was due to write it. And I was like, holy shit. I even called in sick because I was going to use that time to write the script and catch up. And at the park, a little busy. So I ended up doing something that at first I was a little ashamed of, but after I got over it, my girlfriend had recommended to try using ChatGPT to help me out with some tasks, and by God, I used ChatGPT. I said, ChatGPT, write me a badass Reader's Theater script. Now, what was I going to write a script about, or what was ChatGPT going to write the script about? I had heard from comments that, a lot of students will do performances that are basically about, they're sort of traditional stories adapted, like Cinderella or The Prince Who Forgot His Manners, and there's a moral tale, or they'll do something new along those lines. They'll do something about how it's important to get vaccinated and take medicine, or help the poor, or recycle. All of these, sort of nice messages. Well, it depends if you think that those are nice messages. But I didn't want to do that. And some of the comments from the judges last year that I heard from some of the local teachers were, stay away from fairy tales, stay away from magic, keep it close to the students' lives. Now, I don't know really what a student's life is like in Taiwan. I have an idea, but I don't think I could actually write a script to do it justice. But I know talking about something like pizza and pineapple on pizza, something that's something we could all relate to. Okay, that sounds silly, but basically I just fooled around with ChatGPT and said, hey, can you write a comedic script about some friends having a pizza? And then, you have to adjust and say, okay, can you make the characters a little more this way? Can you add some choruses and then do some fine tuning yourself once ChatGPT has done all it can do? And I came out with a script that I thought was pretty good. And so then I had to record my voice. I had to read all of the parts and then give it to the students to listen to so that the pronunciation would be pretty good. Over the winter holiday, Chinese New Year, and then after Chinese New Year, so starting in early February, we started doing rehearsals. I gave up my nap time to spend about 25 minutes with these students Monday through Friday, rehearsing and preparing. And let me tell you, it was a lot of fun because they are all talented students that some of them I handpicked and some of them just did amazing at the audition. And it was a joy to work with them. Although I have to say that sometimes, I'm not overbearing, but I would just, a lot of the Taiwanese will pronounce pizza, they'll say pizza, pizza, instead of pizza. So, I just had to constantly remind a few of those students, pizza, pizza. Sometimes I just had the kids for 20 minutes just chanting pizza, 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 because it was just so hard, just these small pronunciation errors to fix. And I know that pronunciation is pretty much the highest criteria officially for these competitions. So I was pretty anal when it came to their pronunciation, and I know I could see the looks on their faces throughout the rehearsals they were like, some of them, their morale was flagging. Every performer, every student's personality is different, and some of them could take my criticism easily, and some of them couldn't. So I had to learn how to work with each of them individually, which was an interesting process, and know when I should push, when I shouldn't push. There was one student, his name's also Ryan, who just happened to have better English than I think most middle school students in America. He can recite poems from the Lord of the Rings or the Similars. Anyways, one of those token books, so beautifully, so well. His English is fantastic, and he's so creative, and he was such a natural actor that with him, it was just a beauty to see him go. And other students were struggling a little bit, and some of them, but they all had their own unique gifts and talents. And it was just a joy to work with them. And it was a joy to work with my co-teacher, Iris, this young lady, because she saw things and could do things that I couldn't do. Like, she was great with logistics, and she was great with the small things like putting together t-shirts for us all to wear on the day, and the coordination of how to get there and everything like that. So it was really a team effort. So anyways, I had written that script, rehearsed with them, and then this last Friday was the big day. And so we got on a bus and we went to one of the local junior high schools, and there were 14 middle schools there, and it was sort of a big deal. They had lots of people involved with the whole process of getting you into a small theater where they had a big screen where you could watch the performances that were going on, and then your school would be waiting for their turn. And then when their turn was ready, they would call you. When your turn was ready, they would call you to go sit in the hallway, and teachers couldn't be in the performance. You'd have to wait in the waiting room or in the theater. So I got my students warmed up. Now here's the thing. In my performances in America, just some theater performances at a junior junior college, warm-ups were so important. So throughout this entire Reader's Theater process, I was constantly, when we weren't just directly working with the script, I was constantly giving them ways to increase their energy, increase their way of being silly through these funny games, that also made them enjoy coming to rehearsal because they were having so much fun, and it bonded them. And I would get silly. It was just such a fun thing. So before it was their turn, I brought them into the hallway, and for about 15, 20 minutes, we just played games, acted silly. But I was nervous. I got to say, I didn't have a lot of sleep. I didn't have a great sleep the night before, and I was nervous. I didn't think I just thought I had a lot of pressure on me because they told me, Ryan, we think you are going to get our school to tier one. And then I was the main guy. It was my script. And although Iris was my co-coach, I was sort of the main coach for most of it. And the principal had told me if you win, then she's going to give us a huge pizza party. And the students were asking me, do you have confidence that we can win? And our school is one of the smallest or the smallest junior high school in the whole city. And some of these huge junior high schools, they have just so many students, such a pool of talent to choose from, that our school generally doesn't ever win competitions because we've got 240 students and the other school's got 1,000, you know? Like there was a citywide relay competition for junior high school students, and I asked our coach who was taking our teams to the relay race, I said, do you think we have a chance of winning? He's like, absolutely not. Absolutely not. We've only got a small school, and these bigger schools, they're going to have tons of fast people. We only have a few. And I was like, oh, I don't want to have that attitude. I want to freaking win. But once I was at the competition, it was out of my hands, you know? I had to let these students do what they've been preparing for, and what the result was going to be, I didn't know. And I was watching the other performers, the other schools' performances in the theater, and they were so much more theatrical than our students. They were moving and dancing and singing. They were doing a lot more. Basically, our script, which was 6 friends having pizza, 3 of them love pizza and think it's the best thing, and the answer and the key to the mystery of life, and it's full of love and joy. Having pizza is the best thing in the world. And then the other 3 are like, pizza's bad for your cholesterol, it's just food, or it just comes from a freezer. And so it's a debate. The title of the script was The Great Pizza Debate. And all of the characters are quite unique and quite interesting, and I think we cast them perfectly. And then there's the waiter and the narrator. But there's not a lot of moving. It's just friends debating. So I thought, did I take these students upon a blind path from my limited experience? And I was already telling myself, Ryan, it's okay if we don't win because, you know, this is my first time being the head coach. I'll learn from this experience, and I'll make it all a lot more theatrical in the future, okay? And I'll do it about something silly or some happy fairy tale or whatever. Well, later on that day, I found out we got what we wanted. We got in tier 1. We got the highest prize possible. We were chosen as one of the top 5 schools. And that felt so fucking good that our little school could get there. That my students, even some of them, didn't have faith in, and were looking to me for reassurance. And I was saying, yeah, we're gonna win, but in the back of my head, I was like, I don't know. But we did it. We got it, and it felt so damn good. And it's just something small, but perhaps you're someone out there who's thinking about teaching in Taiwan. I'm just trying to say that there are some really kind of fun projects you can get involved with, all like Reader's Theater. However, I should say I was the only foreign English teacher at that event. I think it's mostly a local teacher thing, but luckily I was given that opportunity. And we shall be having a pizza party in the near future because we got first place. Just a small little story about a small school and a Lao Y teacher with a script about pizza. The ChatGPT did most of the heavy lifting writing. But a wonderful group of people, my co-teacher, my co-coach, Iris, and my 8 students that I worked with. It was such a joy, and even though I had to give up nap time to do it, It was almost always my favorite part of the day, and I will miss it, but I'm glad that it came to a happy success. In any case, I just wanted to share that with you. That was the most recent thing. I'll have more videos coming soon. My name's Ryan Freeman. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.